Hi, it's the end of August, so it's time for my August wrap-up. All the books I read in August. Woo! So the first book I read was, oh wait, first of all, I think I read 8 or 9. That seems to be like my limit. I can't seem to get above 8 or 9 books a month. Anyway, the first book I read was The 19th Wife by David Ebershoff. I think this is about polygamy, but I think it's like an interesting topic. I've read one other book about polygamy that I liked, what was it called? Is this called Sisterwife, I think? In fact, it's by the author of another book I read this month that was also good. I think this could have been like more interesting if it was just in the perspective of the one character. Like, in books, I just like the one perspective better than like dual perspectives. The perspective was like historical, and I like that one better because I like historical fiction. And then this guy, or the author, has another book that was just made into a movie recently called, or actually I don't know if it was recently, but within the last couple of years anyway. He wrote The Danish Wife, which I didn't know was even a book really. Next book I read was Enchanted by Gail, Carson, Levine. This is a kid's book, but it's something like I've been wanting to get to for quite a while. Because I really like the movie, so I was like, oh, it's a book, I'll read that. And it was like very easily, flowed nicely, and it was like quite humorous as well. And it was like kind of like Cinderella retelling, and I really like Cinderella, so probably why I liked Ella Enchanted. The next book I read was Paper Valentine by Brenna Yovanoff. This is a reread, and I still really liked it. It's like a mystery, but it's not too much of a mystery, like involving like crime stuff and police stuff that I'm not really interested in. And it was really easy read, and it was humorous again, which I love. And then it was like suspenseful, and like I feel like it had a good ending because the ending like left me surprised, made me want to find out what happened and all that kind of stuff. The next book I read was 20th Century Ghosts by Joe Hill. This was a reread, and I still liked it. It's a short story collection. I like to read more short story collections, so I'm glad I got to this one again. My favorite story in it is My Father's Mask. And this collection was like just scary enough. It was more like suspenseful than anything, so it's not like too scary, which is good, I guess, because I'm not really into that. And then I read The Ancient Mariner by Samuel Taylor Coleridge, or Coleridge, I'm not sure how you pronounce the last one. This one had like, I read this poem in school, and I'm not really into poetry, but I wanted to get this because it had like annotations beside the poem. And also had really cool illustrations, which I can't show you because I don't have the book anymore. But the next book I read was, I have this one with me. It was The Incredible Journey by Sheila Burnford. I really liked the movie of this, the sad movie. But I think that I liked the movie better, but I'm still glad I read it. It has like cool illustrations, the little dog, the 2 dogs and the cat. For example, right here, the cat getting dried off by the girl. Here's the cat attacking a bear. Isn't that interesting? Also, this is set in Canada, which I did not know, because the movie is not set in Canada. What's up with that? And also, it was very descriptive, so it was kind of like slow. Like, not a whole lot of talking. And what is a book without conversations and pictures? Even though it had pictures. The next one I read was another annotated book, which was the Annotated Alice in Wonderland, but it was like a newer edition, so it only had like the new annotations, which I feel was a ripoff. But when I go back to the library, I'm gonna get like the full one. And it was like edited by Martin Gardner, and I found it really cool because I really like Alice in Wonderland, so it was fun reading all the little tidbits about it. And again, I'm gonna get the original when I go back. The next book I read was The Friday Night Knitting Club by Kate Jacobs. I got this because it was about female friendships, which I like to read about, but I find that that part wasn't really in it as much as I wanted it to be. It's kind of like boring, so I kind of just skimmed it. I'm not into knitting either, so. But the best part of that book was the ending, because it did, like, I did not see it coming. Like, it shocked me right on my seat, so that part was good. Like, the best part was the end. And then the last book I read was, I have that one with me still, was Allegra by Shelley, I do not know how to pronounce her last name, Hrdlitschka. This is the same author of the Sisterwife book I was talking about earlier. And this one was also very good. It deals with a student-teacher relationship, which I find that interesting, even though it's scandalous. Um, it's like one-sided on the student side, so I guess that's better, obviously. Although it's not as interesting and outrageous. Anyways, this was fast-paced, and it flowed nicely, and it was just a quick read, and I like those. So those are the books I read in August, so I will see you later. Bye!